everyone, it's Heather Nichols, and today I have a set of cards to share with you that I created with the Over the Moon kit. I'm sharing one card design, and then we'll transform it into a shaker with a few easy steps. Let's take a look at what's included in the Over the Moon kit. All of our kits come in a zipper vinyl pouch to keep everything together, and there's a custom sticker on the outside. And then inside the kit, first off, we have this Moon and Stars die. The moon die has holes etched into it so you can do a cool textured effect, which I'll show you, along with some stars. And then we have the Over the Moon Clearly Crafty stamp set. There's a main Over the Moon sentiment and then coordinating sentiments to customize your card. And then there's the Over the Moon die to cut out the sentiment and strips to stamp those smaller sentiments onto. There's also stars and other fun details in the set. There's the shooting stars background, which is an all-over star design with little shooting stars throughout. Super cute. Then we have rose gold star confetti, so you can use these to embellish your project or maybe use them in a shaker card. And then of course, like we include in all of our kits, we have 6 envelopes and 6 envelope seals. The envelopes are blue corn, a rose gold sparkle, and a silver metallic. Sold separately from the kit is the new Foil It Over the Moon panels. There are 4 celestial designs that are printed with toner ink on blue corn cardstock. I'm foiling my panels with rose gold Deco foil. A few other supplies I'm using: the Stitched Frame Stacklets 1 die collection. I have Window Acetate and foam sticky strips to create my shaker cards, and then I'll also be using foam squares and blue corn ink. I'm starting off by foiling the Over the Moon panels, and I have my Minc machine set to the highest setting. I definitely recommend having your machine as hot as it can get for using with the blue corn cardstock, and maybe even let it just sit for a little bit so that machine just gets really warm. You're going to have better results with a hotter temperature. I'm placing the rose gold foil on top of the panels, pretty side up, or the metallic side up, and then I've got this in my carrier sheet and I'm sending it through my Minc machine. Once the panels go through my Minc machine, I'll peel back that foil to reveal that really pretty metallic shine on the blue corn cardstock. Now let's cut out and emboss the moon from the Moon and Stars die collection. I'm cutting the moon out of sea salt cardstock with my die cut machine, and there's already going to be some texture on the moon from the holes in the die just by cutting it out. Then I set up my die cut machine to do embossing. Follow the directions for your specific machine. I added the embossing pads to my cutting plate. I set the die cut back in the die and set that on top of the embossing pads, and then I sent that right through my machine. Doing this embosses the design, and the polka dot pattern really stands out on the moon. Next, I used the stars from the Moon and Stars die collection, and I cut out a bunch of them from sea salt cardstock using my Sidekick machine. I'm stamping sentiments for my cards from the Over the Moon stamp set with blue corn ink on sugar cube cardstock. I'm setting this up in my MISTI, and I need the foam in there so that it will work for the clear stamps. I've got a piece of sugar cube cardstock. I'll set that stamp in place. I'll close the lid of the MISTI to pick up the stamp. I'll ink up the stamp with blue corn ink and then close the lid of the MISTI to stamp the sentiment onto the sugar cube cardstock. I chose several of the smaller sentiments to use on my cards, and I also stamped those with blue corn ink on sugar cube cardstock using my MISTI. I cut out the Over the Moon for You sentiment with the coordinating die. I lined it up and held it in place with removable Scotch tape and then ran it through my Sidekick machine to cut it out. I cut out the smaller sentiments with the strip dies. There's 2 sizes, one a little bit longer and one a little bit shorter, that will fit all of the different sentiments in the set. I lined up the die around the sentiment, held everything in place with Scotch removable tape, and sent it through my die cut machine to cut it out. I cut out frames for my cards from blue corn cardstock using the Stitched Frame Stacklets 1 die collection. Now let's put the first card design together. I added one of the frames around one of the foiled panels. Next, I added the moon, and then I added the Over the Moon sentiment with foam adhesive, and then I added the You Did It, or the smaller sentiment, underneath, also popped up with foam adhesive. I sprinkled stars around the moon and sentiment and adhered those into place, and then I added the panel to a blue corn card base. That completes this first card design. Now let me show you how I took this card design and created a shaker card. I'm going back to that frame that I cut out with the Stitched Frame Stacklets 1 die collection, and instead of adhering the frame to the panel directly, I'm adding Window Acetate behind the frame opening. I'll put the rest of the card panel together just like I did on the first card design. I added foam sticky strips behind the frame. I made sure that the frame was completely enclosed and there were no openings between the pieces. Next, I adhered the frame over the panel. I did this by removing one of the long ends first and lining that edge up and securing it down. Doing this makes it really easy to line up the rest of the frame. Next, I removed the backing from the other long edge and the bottom edge and secured these down to the panel. I added the stars into the shaker through the top edge of the panel, and then I removed the paper backing from the strip at the top of the panel to secure the shaker closed. I added the shaker to a blue corn card base, and that finishes up the second card design. I hope you enjoyed learning how I created these 2 card designs, and I hope you learned something new today. You can find the Over the Moon kit and the other supplies that I used to create these cards in the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you next time.